Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are diving into a highly practical roadmap for relocation researchers and migrants who are looking closely at the 2026 European residency landscape. If you're mapping out your international options right now, you've probably encountered a total maze of changing rules and closed doors. Well, today, we're cutting straight through all that noise to look at one of the absolute most resilient and flexible programs available right now.
Let's kick things off with a really crucial number: 7. That is the surprisingly low number of days per year you actually need to spend in Portugal to maintain your residency. I mean, think about it. That's literally just a one-week vacation. For expats, digital nomads, and high-net-worth individuals who are building a European contingency plan, this absolute minimum physical presence is the foundation of why this program remains so incredibly compelling. You don't have to uproot your entire life immediately to secure your footing in Europe.
Now, you've probably heard the rumors that the Golden Visa ended when the real estate options closed. But the truth is, the program is actually thriving through new, highly regulated avenues. The headlines claimed the door was completely shut, but the reality? The Portuguese government simply changed the locks and updated the key.
Okay, let's quickly map out our agenda for today. We'll be covering the 2026 relocation landscape, Portugal's Golden Visa rules, investment routes and trade-offs, the application timeline, navigating EU residence rights, and finally, the path to citizenship.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the 2026 relocation landscape.
So, the days of just buying a nice residential house to get an EU visa? Yeah, those are totally over. Portugal passed Law 56/2023, completely stripping out the real estate option, and Spain followed suit right after due to housing affordability concerns. For researchers and expats, we are well and truly in a new era of active, targeted capital investment.
Which brings us to Section 2, Portugal's Golden Visa rules. So the crucial point here is that beyond obvious things like a clean criminal record, the authorities are heavily focused on tracking your legal source of funds. They want to see 3 to 5 years of bank statements and tax returns. It is not enough to just have the money. You literally have to prove exactly where it came from. In fact, undocumented cash deposits or just having a murky financial narrative, those are the primary reasons we see application rejections today.
Moving into Section 3, investment routes and trade-offs.
Looking at your main options, it's definitely worth noting that investments in designated low-density regions actually reduce these minimum capital thresholds by 20%. And while job creation and scientific research are really powerful options for the right individual, the vast majority of applicants are drawn to either the fund subscription route or the cultural heritage route. So let's take a closer look at those two.
To make a truly smart decision, you really need to weigh the highly popular €500,000 venture capital fund against the much more accessible €250,000 cultural heritage contribution. And that cultural option actually totals around €266,000 once you factor in all the government and legal fees. The trade-off is clear. The venture capital route requires capital to be tied up in official funds, while the cultural route allows you to gain residency for essentially half the upfront cost by investing in the restoration of national heritage or the arts.
Now, what if you decide to actually relocate and become a full tax resident, meaning you stay for more than 183 days a year? Well, you absolutely need to be aware of the NHR 2.0 tax regime. It offers significant flat-rate tax advantages for high-value activities. It's a huge strategic point to consider. Do you stay for just those minimum 7 days to maintain residency, or do you move fully and leverage these massive tax benefits?
Okay, let's shift gears to Section 4, the application timeline. The absolute gatekeepers of this entire process are AAMI. They're the agency that replaced the old border force, and they process all applications electronically through their digital portal. Understanding that AIM is currently navigating a massive backlog while implementing brand new digital systems, well, that's absolutely key to managing your expectations, and frankly, keeping your sanity.
Here is how you actually get the ball rolling. The immediate actions you must take are getting your Portuguese tax number, that's known as a NIF, opening a local bank account, and fully transferring your investment before you submit your digital dossier. You cannot submit partial investments. Actually, let me emphasize that. The full required amount must be confirmed and fully documented in Portuguese before AIMA will even look at your file.
But wait, here is the catch you really need to be prepared for: the timeline. While simple cases might take 8 to 14 months after your in-person biometrics appointment, complex cases can easily stretch out to 2 full years. This is simply not an overnight process. You really have to plan for a 12 to 24-month horizon from the moment you decide to pull the trigger to the day you actually have that physical card in your hand.
All right, let's transition to Section 5, Navigating EU Residence Rights.
For families, the massive game-changing advantage here is that a single investment covers all of these dependents. It grants everyone their own residence card without requiring a single euro of additional capital. It is an incredibly efficient way to secure international options for multiple generations, all at exactly the same time. And with this card in hand, your entire family gains the incredible right to live, work, or study in Portugal, alongside completely unrestricted, visa-free travel throughout the entire Schengen zone. Whether it's enrolling your kids in European universities or just seamlessly traveling across borders for business, the friction of international movement essentially disappears.
Finally, we reach Section 6, the path to citizenship.
The roadmap concludes after 5 years. At that point, you and your reunited family members can apply for actual citizenship, provided you can pass a basic A2 level Portuguese language exam. And you know what the most extraordinary part of this whole shebang is? You do not need to have resided full-time in Portugal during those 5 years. Just maintaining your golden visa and knocking out your minimal 7-day annual visits keeps you firmly on this path.
That naturalization process ultimately grants you a Portuguese passport with visa-free or visa-on-arrival access to over 186 countries. That includes the United States via the ESTA program, as well as Canada, Japan, and the UK. It is consistently ranked as one of the most powerful travel documents in the entire world. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you to reflect on this absolutely crucial question for your own long-term relocation strategy. Is a 5-year, structured investment worth a lifetime of European access for you and your family? By understanding the trade-offs and managing those timelines we talked about, navigating the 2026 Golden Visa becomes a highly strategic move for your future. Thanks so much for joining me today, and keep exploring your options.